Lunara Vexley vanished days after stepping into the world of Dubai's elite, Draycen Mahir's world. ***. The glamorous OnlyFans model was last seen entering his private residence, smiling for cameras, unaware of the chilling trap ahead, as her assistant Talia Noorani begged for answers, and Detective Kareem Saeed unraveled a maze of secrets. Every clue pointed toward a dangerous underworld hidden behind wealth and influence. And when a dusty suitcase appeared in the desert, Velen Cruises, silence suddenly became louder than words. Lunara Vexley had always lived for the spotlight. With over 1 million followers across platforms and a growing fan base on OnlyFans, she had become a digital icon of modern glamour. Her posts were filled with curated luxury private jets, champagne breakfasts, silk dresses under city lights. When she announced a trip to Dubai for a high-end modeling collaboration, fans assumed it was just another step up in her golden rise. She arrived in the city of skyscrapers and sand in late March, accompanied by her assistant, Talia Noorani. Talia had managed Lunara's travels and bookings for nearly a year, and the two had developed a close working rhythm. Their suite at a luxury hotel near Palm Jumeirah was filled with PR packages, designer shopping bags, and boxes of camera equipment. The purpose of the trip, according to Lunara's team, was a brand shoot combined with an influencer event, rumored to involve wealthy backers from across the Middle East. Lunara posted actively during the first few days: poolside lounging, sunset, cruises, rooftop dinners. One video showed her stepping off a Lamborghini in a black silk gown, captioned with a single emoji. In her private subscriber content, she hinted at a mysterious business opportunity that could change her life forever. None of her followers knew what that meant, but it only added to the intrigue. It was through one of these exclusive events that Lunara met Draycen Mahir, an elusive figure in Dubai's elite social circuit. Not much was known about him publicly. A few online articles linked him to international real estate and luxury art investments, but whispers suggested something darker: adult entertainment networks operating in legal gray zones. He was rarely seen in the public eye, but when he appeared, it was always in opulence: tailored suits, rare watches, and entourages that didn't speak much. Draycen reportedly took an interest in Lunara at a private yacht party. Multiple guests recalled how he stayed near her for most of the evening, talking quietly while others danced and drank. The next day, Lunara shared a photo of herself sitting in an exotic garden, holding a crystal goblet. The location wasn't tagged, but her assistant told a friend back in London that Lunara had gone to meet a serious investor at a villa for a perfume brand concept. That was the last anyone heard from her. She didn't show up for her next scheduled shoot. Talia assumed she had gone out for brunch with someone she met at the party, but when hours passed without a message, concern grew. Calls went unanswered. Her Instagram stories stopped. By nightfall, Talia informed the hotel staff and filed a missing person report. Police searched her hotel room. Everything seemed in place. Her cosmetics were still neatly arranged. Clothes hung as she had left them. Her passport and some of her jewelry remained untouched in the safe. Most chillingly, her camera bag lay open on the bed, the lens cap missing, as if she had left in a hurry or intended to return soon. But there was no sign of her. The influencer world erupted. Fans flooded her comments with questions. Fellow creators shared missing posters online. Her OnlyFans page remained active but untouched. Dubai authorities quietly began an investigation, but information was scarce. The UAE had strict laws around adult content and foreign influencers, which complicated international cooperation. Days turned into a week. No ransom demand came. No credit card activity. No verified sightings. It was as if Lunara Vexley had vanished into thin air, leaving behind only curated images of a dream life, and a growing sense that behind the filters and glamour, something far more sinister had been waiting for her in Dubai. Detective Kareem Saeed had handled countless cases in his decade of service with the Dubai police, but something about Lunara Vexley's disappearance unsettled him. On the surface, it looked like another missing tourist case, until he began looking deeper into the people she had surrounded herself with. Her social media painted a flawless picture of high-end living, but between the filters and hashtags, he saw signs of manipulation, money, and possibly something criminal. The first logical step was to trace Lunara's last known movements. The hotel surveillance showed her leaving the lobby late in the afternoon, 2 days before she was reported missing. She wore a fitted beige jumpsuit and carried a small handbag, stepping into a black SUV waiting at the curb. The license plate was registered to a rental agency, often used by visiting businessmen, especially those who preferred privacy. It had been rented under the name of Velan Cruz, a photographer from South Africa who had worked with Lunara a few times in the past. Cruz had flown in for the influencer event and left Dubai just 2 days later, cutting his trip short. Kareem contacted Cruz, who agreed to a video call but seemed evasive. He claimed he left early due to creative differences, and denied having any personal involvement with Lunara beyond their professional collaborations. When asked about the party at the villa, Cruz hesitated before admitting he had attended briefly, then left because it felt overproduced and fake. He said he last saw Lunara speaking with a man in a silver suit, likely Draycen Mahir. This led Kareem to the villa's location, an estate tucked into the hills near Al Barari, far from the usual party circuits. It belonged to one of Draycen's holding companies, registered through a maze of offshore shells. The security cameras on the property had been disabled, which raised alarms. A forensic sweep of the villa yielded little except an intense smell of bleach in certain rooms and furniture that had been recently replaced. The cleaning staff claimed the villa was reset after every party, but the timing was suspicious. Back at Lunara's hotel, her assistant Talia granted detectives full access to her employer's digital footprint. Within Lunara's OnlyFans inbox, investigators found dozens of private messages, including one unsent draft that stood out. In it, Lunara had written to a friend back in Manchester, "This man gives me bad vibes. Thinking of backing out, not sure it's safe." The message had never been sent. Its timestamp matched the morning of her disappearance. Kareem requested geodata from her devices. Her phone had gone offline shortly after entering the Al Barari neighborhood. The last ping came from a location just 600 meters from the villa. When the tech team accessed cloud data, they found something else. Lunara had tried to upload a video clip to a private folder, but it failed to complete. The file was partially corrupted, showing only the first 2 seconds, a shaky view of a marble floor and dim lighting. Someone had deleted the rest remotely. Meanwhile, whispers around Draycen Mahir grew louder. Though untouchable in public, rumors followed him in private circles. Models and influencers spoke anonymously, claiming they had felt pressured to attend private gatherings in exchange for money or brand deals. Some hinted at dark rituals, others at video blackmail operations. But none were willing to speak officially. In Dubai, accusations without proof could lead to swift legal consequences, not for the accused, but for the accuser. Kareem began connecting the dots. Every case linked to Draycen had one thing in common: the silence that followed. People either left the country or shut down their accounts. No one pressed charges. No one filed official complaints. And now, with Lunara's case spiraling into silence, it was beginning to look like she might not be the first to disappear, under mysterious circumstances linked to his name. Still, without a body or direct evidence, Kareem's investigation remained stalled, but a new lead was forming. A hotel staff member, reviewing archived footage, reported seeing Lunara again, this time 2 days after she was thought to have vanished. She wasn't alone. She was with Draycen, entering a private residential tower. There was no footage of her ever coming out. The hotel staff member's tip gave Detective Kareem Saeed a narrow window of possibility. If Lunara Vexley had indeed been seen after the presumed time of her disappearance, the investigation's timeline needed urgent revision. The grainy footage from a nearby street camera confirmed it. Lunara, wearing oversized sunglasses and a white hoodie, was seen entering the luxurious Ilara residences with Draycen Mahir. The timestamp on the footage was 2 full days after she was last active on social media. There was no record of her entering in the tower's official logs. Security at Ilara residences claimed that only residents and registered guests were allowed inside, and Lunara's name didn't appear anywhere. Draycen, however, owned an entire penthouse floor under a private corporation. No surveillance footage showed her ever leaving the building. Kareem immediately sought a search warrant for the premises, but the request was delayed. Legal obstacles began piling up, and Draycen's team of attorneys argued that there was no evidence of wrongdoing, only speculation based on edited, unofficial footage. While the courts debated the request, Draycen vanished from the city, reportedly flying to Montenegro on a private jet registered to one of his offshore firms. Despite the setback, Kareem pushed forward. He obtained digital blueprints of the penthouse. The residence included a private elevator, biometric access, soundproof rooms, and a rooftop garden with panoramic city views. Everything was designed for isolation and luxury, perfect for someone who wanted complete privacy. Pressure began mounting from abroad. British tabloids ran sensational headlines, and Lunara's fans launched an online campaign demanding justice. Still, the case remained cold in official records. No charges, no suspects, no physical evidence. Only online speculation kept it alive. The turning point came when Kareem decided to follow the money. He ordered a financial analysis of all known associates of Draycen Mahir. In doing so, he uncovered a network of high-end payments to freelance photographers, stylists, and travel coordinators across multiple countries. Among them was a recurring name. Velen Cruz. Cruz had received large transfers from shell companies linked to Draycen just days before and after Lunara's disappearance. The amounts were far more than the typical pay for a fashion shoot. When Kareem reached out again, Cruz refused to cooperate and stopped responding to all messages. Interpol was contacted, but South African authorities lacked jurisdiction to force Cruz to speak. Around the same time, Kareem's tech analysts made a breakthrough. Lunara's cloud storage contained encrypted backups from her private phone. One file, heavily damaged but partially recoverable, included a short video clip. It showed Lunara inside a stark marble room with dim lights and no windows. Her face appeared drained, her eyes filled with quiet panic. She was sitting on a cushion against the wall, visibly disoriented. Just before the clip ended, a hand entered the frame. It was male, wearing a thick silver ring shaped like a serpent coiled around the finger. Kareem recognized it instantly. Draycen had worn that exact ring in every photo taken of him from the influencer event. The ring became the single strongest piece of visual evidence, tying him to Lunara's last known location. But with Draycen now outside the UAE, extradition became a political minefield. There was still no confirmation of a crime, no body, no confession, only fragments of fear caught on camera. Kareem appealed to Lunara's family in the UK, urging them to go public with the video. They agreed. The clip was shared with a major international news outlet. Within days, it went viral, reigniting the mystery. Speculation soared. Some believed she had been trafficked. Others said it was a fake video staged for attention. But those who had followed the case closely knew something real had happened, something dark hidden beneath Dubai's glittering surface. Despite the attention, the investigation hit another wall. Draycen's properties were emptied. His local assets were quietly sold off. Associates like Velen Cruz went off-grid. The people who once posted about him now refused to acknowledge him, and Lunara's fate remained a haunting question mark. suspended between digital clues, missing time, and a silence that grew heavier with each passing day. Weeks slipped into months, and with every passing day, Lunara Vexley's name began to fade from the headlines. But Detective Kareem Saeed couldn't let go of the case. Something about it continued to haunt him, how a woman with millions of followers, constant online presence, and dozens of digital footprints could simply vanish. The viral video clip of Lunara sitting in a windowless marble room had sparked global interest, but without further evidence or her physical presence, it remained just a disturbing fragment of a larger mystery. Then, a construction crew working on a new luxury complex near the edge of the Al Marmoon Desert stumbled upon something unusual. While clearing sand near an old abandoned structure tied to a long-defunct real estate project, one of the workers hit something hard. Buried under a few feet of sand was a weathered metal suitcase. It was locked, dented, and partially corroded. Dubai authorities were immediately alerted due to suitcase's suspicious condition and location. Inside the suitcase were several personal items: a torn clutch bag, crushed sunglasses, a shattered phone, and articles of clothing consistent with what Lunara had worn in her last known appearances. Her passport was found, too folded and water-damaged, but clearly hers. There was no sign of her body, no remains, but the contents pointed undeniably to Lunara. Forensics confirmed hair strands inside the suitcase belonged to her. The smashed phone still had a memory card lodged deep in the cracked slot, and though it took several days, digital experts managed to extract parts of its content. Among the recovered data were blurry images, voice memos, and more encrypted video files. One video showed the same marble room as before, but from a different angle. In this clip, Lunara appeared unconscious on the floor. A man's silhouette briefly entered the frame before the screen went black. No face was visible, but again, the ring appeared silver, snake-shaped, coiled around the same hand. The recovered voice memo was only 5 seconds long, mostly static, but with one desperate sentence whispered under heavy breathing. "If you find this, tell them." He lied. The audio was weak, but voice analysts confirmed it matched Lunara's tone and inflection. Kareem had what he needed to file a formal charge, but Draycen Mahir was now a ghost. His name no longer appeared on any UAE registry. His bank accounts had been closed. His properties were either sold or abandoned. Investigators discovered that his passport had been replaced with an alias through forged European documents. With no extradition treaty between the UAE and the small Balkan nation he was suspected of hiding in, progress became slow and politically sensitive. More pressure came from abroad. British media resumed full coverage of the case. Activist groups called for international sanctions. Still, the absence of a body meant prosecution was virtually impossible. Legally, Lunara Vexley was still listed as missing, presumed dead. Meanwhile, Talia Noorani, the assistant who once traveled the world with Lunara, began to receive anonymous messages. First, a burner email with the subject line, "Stop talking." Then, an envelope slipped under her apartment door, containing a single photo, an old image of her and Lunara at a hotel, their faces circled in red marker. The back of the photo had one word written in Arabic, "danger." Fearing for her safety, Talia relocated and deactivated all her social media accounts. She refused interviews and stopped participating in the investigation. When Kareem tried contacting her, he found that her apartment was vacated and her number disconnected. The fear wasn't just spreading among those directly connected to the case. Other influencers who had worked with Draycen went silent. Their accounts were wiped, collaborations deleted, and travel schedules altered. Some left Dubai entirely, never returning. It was as if a silent warning had passed through a once glamorous community, reminding them that visibility could also bring vulnerability. The suitcase discovery confirmed that something horrific had happened. But without the final piece, Lunara's physical presence, or proof of death, justice remained elusive. The silence around Draycen Mahir deepened. His name faded from public record, but his legend grew darker in whispered stories and online. Conspiracy forums. What had started as an influencer's luxury trip had unraveled into one of the most chilling disappearances in modern Dubai, and no one seemed willing or able to reveal what truly happened behind those doors. Asterisk. A year had passed since Lunara Vexley vanished in Dubai, and though her case had generated global media storms, protest hashtags, and investigative documentaries, nothing concrete had ever emerged to prove what truly happened to her. No arrests had been made, no body had been found, no official conclusion had been drawn. The case remained in limbo, open, unsolved, and suffocating under the weight of silence. Detective Karim Saeed, now reassigned to another department, still kept Lunara's file close. Despite official pressure to move on, he couldn't forget the evidence, the corrupted video files, the silent scream in her eyes, the serpent ring, and the buried suitcase. He had seen enough cases to know when someone was truly gone. But in this one, nothing about her disappearance felt final. It was as if the story had been paused deliberately. Meanwhile, the world had moved on. New stories had taken over the headlines. But among the online true crime community, Lunara's name lived on. Her disappearance had become a digital legend, spawning hundreds of theories. Some believed she had been abducted by a trafficking network. Others suspected she had uncovered a blackmail operation and paid the price. A small but vocal group even claimed she had faked her disappearance to escape fame. None of them had real answers. Then came the image that reignited everything. A travel influencer posted a casual video while partying on a yacht off the coast of Ibiza. The video itself was ordinary music, drinks, ocean waves. But within hours, internet sleuths began dissecting every frame. In the reflection of the influencer's sunglasses, there appeared to be a blonde woman standing in the background. She wasn't part of the main group, not tagged or mentioned. And she didn't interact with anyone. Yet her facial features, blurry as they were, bore a haunting resemblance to Lunara. The image spread rapidly. Side-by-side comparisons were posted online. Amateur analysts zoomed, enhanced, and color-matched the reflection. While the quality was poor, many were convinced it was her. Some claimed to spot the same tattoo on her collarbone that Lunara had shown on her OnlyFans months before her trip to Dubai. Others said it was just a lookalike. But once again, her name returned to headlines, this time under a more chilling narrative. Was Lunara Vexley alive and hiding? The Dubai authorities made no comment. Interpol flagged the image, but there was no follow-up from Spanish police. The yacht had been rented for a private event, and none of the guests admitted to seeing or speaking to the mystery woman. The influencer who posted the video deleted the footage, claiming it had brought unwanted attention and threats. Detective Karim, now unofficially monitoring the case, contacted a trusted tech analyst to enhance the image further. What they found gave him pause. The woman in the reflection wore a silver bracelet, one identical to the bracelet found in the desert suitcase. It wasn't conclusive proof, but it was too specific to ignore. The theory shifted. Perhaps Lunara hadn't been killed but silenced, hidden under someone else's control. Perhaps she had been moved across borders, identity stripped and rebuilt. And if she had resurfaced, even briefly, what did it mean? Was she trying to escape? Was she sending a signal? Yet as quickly as the image appeared, the trail went cold again. No more sightings. No more leaked footage. No answers. The silence returned, heavier this time, as if whoever was behind it had been watching, and reminded the world how easy it was to erase someone, even in an age where every moment is captured and shared. Lunara Vexley's case was never closed, but it remained a symbol of the darkness that can lurk behind luxury and fame. She had entered a world built on beauty, power, and secrecy, and somewhere along the way, she had either vanished into it or been buried beneath it. Whether she was alive or gone, one truth stood firm. Lunara had become more than just a missing person. She had become a warning, asterisk,